Alright, welcome back to Anton Math. Now this is the final video of Chapter 6. We're going to talk about Heron's formula for the area of a triangle. Now this is a convenient little formula when the only information that you have is the length of all the sides and you don't know any of the angles. Now of course we could solve out some of the angles using the law of cosines and then use that angle with the area of the triangle that we derived earlier. But this is just going to be one step easier where we just kind of plug and play. Now first, I'm not going to prove the entire formula, but I'll go and get it started so you kind of know what direction we're going. Remember before we had this formula, area of the triangle is 1/2 AB sine theta, where theta is the angle between A and B. So in the triangle I've drawn here, that's going to be sine C, isn't it? Now how the proof proceeds is we then look at A squared of that triangle. That's going to be 1/4 A squared B squared sine squared of C. The next step is that we plug in, using our Pythagorean identity, instead of sine squared, this is going to become 1 minus cosine squared of C. Then we have A squared is equal to 1/4 A squared B squared, and I can break this up, I can factor this into 1 plus cosine squared C times 1 minus cosine squared C. After this, we just, oh sorry, I don't have squareds here, do I? This is just cosine to the 1 on both of these. We broke it up. After this, we plug in both here and here for cosine of C using the law of cosines. So if you take the law of cosines that has cosine of C in it, you put cosine of C on one side, everything else on the other side, plug in that result here, you can then simplify and then write things in terms of S and take the square root of both sides, and we get Heron's formula. So that's it. So if you're interested in proving it, I'll leave that to you. It's a fun little project for you to do, just a little bit of algebra for you. See if you can get to the formula that I have here above. But let's come back to the formula, talk about it a little bit. The area of a triangle is the square root of the product S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C, where S is equal to 1/2 A plus B plus C. We use S because this quantity right here is called the semi-perimeter. You use S for the semi-perimeter. It's called semi-perimeter because it's exactly 1/2 of the total perimeter, isn't it? Now let's just do a quick example. We're not going to focus too much on this in this class, but I did want to introduce it. So example, if A equals 9, B equals 12, and C equals 15 in a triangle like this above, then the area of that triangle, well first what we want to do is we want to find S. S is going to be 1/2 A plus B plus C, so that's 9 plus 12 plus 15. So here, that's going to be 1/2 of 36. If we add all those together, we get 36, or 18. So first we find our S. Our S in this problem is 18. So now we're ready to find the area. The area is going to be S, which is 18, times S minus A, or 18 minus 9, times 18 minus B, which is 12, times 18 minus C, which is 15. All right, let's simplify this a little bit. That's the square root of 18 times 9 times 6 times 3. And that product in the square root is going to become 2,916. And final step, once you take the square root of that, we get that the area of the triangle is equal to 54. 54 units squared. So if this was inches, of course, we'd put square inches here. Okay, so that's Heron's formula for the area of the triangle. Now most of the time in our class, we're going to stick with the formula we had before. And remember, that's just the area of the triangle is 1/2 AB sine theta. And Heron's formula, I think, is a little bit harder to remember. So if you remember this formula, we can always use the law of cosines to find one of our angles, can't we? In this case, we would find the angle C, and then we can just plug into this formula and get our answer that way. So Heron's formula isn't going to be necessary for this course, but it is something that you will see going on into the future, going on into other math classes, and in some cases can be very convenient. All right, now that's all we have for Chapter 6. So in the next chapter, Chapter 7, we're going to be focusing on trig identities and solving trig equations. So we'll see you there.